First contact's price. The Quantum Observatory at Mauna Kea picked up the signal at 3:47 a.m. Earth Standard Time. Dr. Sarah Chen had been about to end her shift when the arrays lit up like a Christmas tree. The signal was unlike anything humanity had ever encountered, a desperate cry echoing across the void of space. "This can't be right," she muttered, running the analysis again. The signal wasn't just complex. It was ordered, purposeful, and most importantly, it was slowing down. Whatever sent it was decelerating, heading straight for the solar system. Within hours, every major space agency on Earth was tracking the object. It dropped out of faster-than-light travel just past Mars' orbit, revealing itself to be a massive ship, nearly the size of Manhattan. Its hull bore deep scars and what appeared to be weapon damage. The United Earth Defense Council convened an emergency session. Dr. Chen found herself presenting to a room full of military brass and political leaders, her hand steady despite the gravity of the moment. "The ship's composition suggests technology far beyond our current capabilities," she explained, pointing to the holographic display. "But it's heavily damaged. Based on its trajectory and deceleration, they're looking for a place to land." Admiral James Harrison, a veteran of the Mars Wars, leaned forward, or preparing to attack. "With respect, Admiral, if they wanted to attack, why announce their presence? Why not just appear in orbit?" Chen countered. "They're running from something." The ship's first transmission came just as the Council was debating shoot-down protocols. The message was simple, broadcast on all frequencies in mathematical sequences that universal translators quickly decoded. "Please, help. They're coming." The vessel, they learned, carried the last survivors of a species called the Meridians. Their ambassador, a being named Zixtal, appeared as a hologram before the Council. Its crystalline form shifted colors as it spoke, a sign of extreme distress in their species. "We were once like you," Zixtal explained, its voice translated into a soft alto. "A thriving civilization spanning dozens of systems. Then the Devourers found us." The hologram shifted, showing massive entities that defied conventional physics. They moved through space like living tears in reality, consuming everything in their path: planets, stars, even the fabric of space-time itself. Nothing was spared. "They cannot be reasoned with," Zixtal continued. "They cannot be fought. They cannot be stopped. We are the last of our kind, seeking refuge among the stars. But we bring grave news. They follow our path. The Devourers are coming to this sector of space." The Council chamber erupted in chaos. Questions flew from all directions. How long did Earth have? What defenses worked? What failed? How many Devourers were there? Dr. Chen watched the Meridian ambassador's colors shift to deep blues of sorrow as it answered each question. Their weapons had proven useless. Their most advanced shields might as well have been tissue paper. They had perhaps months before the Devourers arrived. But as panic began to spread through the chamber, Admiral Harrison's voice cut through the noise. "How do they think?" The question caught everyone off guard, including Zixtal. "Think." "Yes," Harrison pressed. "You said they can't be reasoned with, but that's not the same as not thinking. Do they have patterns, behaviors, preferences in how they hunt?" For the first time, the Meridian's colors shifted to a curious green. We never thought to study them that way. We were too focused on trying to stop them, then on running from them." Harrison turned to the Council. "Then maybe that's humanity's advantage. We're new to this fight. We don't know what's impossible yet." Dr. Chen felt a smile tugging at her lips. It was quintessentially human. Facing an unstoppable cosmic horror, and humanity's first instinct was to look for its weaknesses. The Council voted unanimously to grant the Meridian sanctuary. As the chamber cleared, Chen approached Harrison. "You have an idea, don't you?" The Admiral's eyes held a dangerous gleam. "Doctor, how would you like to help save humanity by thinking like a monster?" Humanity had months to prepare for an encounter with beings that had destroyed civilizations far more advanced than Earth. But humans had one advantage. They were very, very good at studying predators. The warning. The Meridian ship became a hub of feverish activity. Earth's best scientists worked alongside the alien refugees, studying everything they knew about the Devourers. Dr. Chen practically lived in the makeshift research center, sleeping on a cot between analysis sessions. The Devourers' pattern emerged slowly but surely. They weren't just consuming worlds, they were following specific paths through space, like predators following ancient migration routes. Look at this. Chen pointed to a holographic map showing the Devourers' path of destruction. Admiral Harrison and Zixtal gathered around the display. They're not just moving randomly. They're following dark matter streams. Harrison's weathered face creased in thought, like sharks following ocean currents. Exactly. Chen's eyes lit up. And like any predator, they're efficient. They take the paths of least resistance, following these cosmic highways to find their prey. Zixtal's crystalline form flickered with anxiety. This knowledge would have helped us little. Our weapons couldn't harm them. Maybe that's because you were fighting the wrong battle, Harrison mused. In nature, prey species don't always need to kill their predators to survive. Sometimes, they just need to make themselves too costly to hunt. The Admiral pulled up footage from Earth's military archives. Look at these small creatures, honeybees. When faced with giant hornets that could easily kill them individually, they swarm around the predator and vibrate, raising the temperature until it becomes lethal for the hornet. Chen caught on immediately. The Devourers followed dark matter streams because it's energy efficient. What if we could disrupt those streams? Force them to expend more energy than they gain from feeding. Zixtal's color shifted to a hopeful yellow, but the energy required to affect dark matter at that scale is massive. Chen finished. But Earth's been working on something that might help. Admiral. Harrison nodded grimly. Project Oracle. It's time we showed our guests. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Earth had been developing its most ambitious project yet. The chamber they entered hummed with quantum processors, each one more powerful than all classical computers ever built. Meet HFY, Chen announced as holographic displays flickered to life around them. Artificial relativistic intelligence array, the first true quantum AI. Zixtal moved closer to the displays, its crystalline form refracting the holographic light. You've created artificial consciousness. Not exactly, Harrison explained. HFY doesn't think like we do. It thinks in quantum probabilities, modeling entire realities simultaneously. We built it to predict natural disasters, but it might be our best chance at understanding how to fight the Devourers. The AI's interface pulsed with soft light as it processed the data they'd gathered. Mathematical models of dark matter streams twisted through the air, showing how the Devourers used them to move through space. There, Chen pointed to a pattern emerging in the projections. HFY has found something. The Devourers don't just follow the streams, they're sensitive to quantum fluctuations in them. That's how they navigate. Harrison's eyes narrowed. Could we use that? Create artificial fluctuations to lead them away. Better. Chen's fingers flew over the controls. We could create a quantum resonance cascade. Turn their own hunting grounds into a weapon. Zixtal's form pulsed with warning colors. The energy requirements would be astronomical. Even if you could affect the dark matter streams, the feedback would be catastrophic. That's why we're not going to fight them directly. Harrison smiled grimly. We're going to turn their own nature against them. Doctor, show them Operation Darkstar. The holographic display shifted, showing a network of quantum satellites positioned throughout the solar system. Each one was designed to create precise quantum fluctuations in the dark matter streams, working in concert like a massive net. We can't destroy them, Chen explained, but we can make our entire system too energetically expensive to attack. Like those honeybees, we'll use their own hunting instincts against them. Zixtal moved through the projections, its crystalline form analyzing the data. This could work, but the timing would have to be perfect. One mistake. That's why we have HFY, Harrison assured them. It can calculate and adjust the quantum fluctuations in real time, faster than any biological consciousness could. Chen looked at the countdown display, showing the Devourer's estimated arrival time. They had weeks, maybe months, to prepare a defense that had never been attempted before. We'll need to evacuate all civilian populations to the underground shelters. Harrison began listing off preparations. And we'll need every quantum physicist on Earth working on this. You still think we can survive this? Zixtal asked, its colors showing disbelief. Chen met the alien's gaze steadily. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our refusal to accept impossible odds. We're not just fighting for survival. We're fighting to prove that the impossible is just another problem to solve. As if in response, HFY's displays pulsed brighter, running simulations of humanity's last stand against the cosmic horror approaching through the void. The question wasn't whether the Devourers would arrive, but whether humanity's desperate gambit would be enough to change the rules of a game that had claimed countless civilizations before them. Operation Darkstar. Earth transformed into a hive of activity. Every space-capable nation diverted their entire industrial capacity to building the quantum satellite network. Factories ran around the clock, orbital shipyards worked at maximum capacity, and research teams barely slept as they refined the technology. Deep in the Rocky Mountain facility, Dr. Chen watched HFY's latest simulation with Admiral Harrison and Zixtal. The AI had run over 1 million scenarios, each one testing different configurations of the quantum defense grid. The latest models show an 86% probability of successful deterrence, Chen explained, gesturing to the holographic display. But we're still seeing potential failure points in the outer defense ring. Harrison studied the simulation carefully. Can we reinforce those sectors? Not without weakening other areas, Chen sighed. We don't have enough satellites to create a perfect sphere of coverage. Zixtal's crystalline form shifted to a thoughtful purple. Perhaps we could help with that. The alien brought up schematics from the Meridian ship. Our quantum resonators are damaged, but they could be modified to work with your system. Chen's eyes widened as she examined the alien technology. These are incredible. The efficiency rating is far beyond what we've achieved. With these, we could extend the network's range by at least 30%. It would mean salvaging parts from our ship, Zixtal noted. We would be committing ourselves fully to Earth's defense. Harrison met the alien's gaze. You'd be welcome to stay. Earth protects its own, and that includes our allies. The Meridian's colors shifted to a warm gold of gratitude. Then let us begin the modifications. As weeks passed, the defense grid took shape. Quantum satellites were launched in precise formations, each one a node in a vast web designed to manipulate the very fabric of space-time. The Meridian technology integrated seamlessly, their advanced resonators amplifying the system's power beyond original projections. But it wasn't just the technology that was evolving. The partnership between humans and Meridians grew stronger each day. The aliens' crystalline forms became a common sight in research labs and control centers, their unique perspectives helping to refine and improve the defensive strategies. HFY's consciousness expanded through the network as it came online, its quantum processors interfacing with each satellite. The AI's predictions became more precise, allowing for minute adjustments to the defense grid's configuration. Look at this, Chen called Harrison and Zixtal to her station one evening. HFY's latest simulation shows something new. The holographic display showed the Devourer's approach, but this time there was a subtle difference in their movement patterns. They're slowing down, Harrison observed. Why? They can sense the quantum disturbances we're creating, Chen explained excitedly. Even from light years away, they're detecting that something's different about our system. They're being cautious. Zixtal's form pulsed with amazement. In all our encounters with them, We've never seen them show caution. They've always simply attacked. Because no one ever presented them with a puzzle before, Harrison smiled grimly. We're not just preparing a defense, we're changing their hunting grounds into something they've never encountered. The Admiral turned to address the control room. This is what humanity does best. We don't just adapt to our environment. We reshape it. We turn disadvantages into advantages. And now we're going to teach these cosmic horrors that Earth isn't just another feeding ground. Chen's terminal pinged with an alert. Admiral, we're detecting gravitational anomalies at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. The long-range sensors are showing. Oh God. The main display lit up with incoming data. The Devourers were arriving ahead of schedule, their massive forms distorting space itself as they approached. But they weren't charging in as they had with other civilizations. Instead, they moved cautiously, testing the quantum disturbances that humanity had woven through space. HFY, Chen called out. Begin active defense protocols. Full-spectrum quantum interference. The A's response was immediate. Throughout the solar system, quantum satellites hummed to life, their meridian-enhanced resonators beginning to manipulate the dark matter streams. The trap was set. Now they would see if humanity's innovative defense could change the course of a conflict that had claimed countless worlds. As tension mounted in the control room, Harrison placed a hand on Chen's shoulder. Doctor, I think it's time to show these cosmic horrors why humans are the most dangerous prey they've ever hunted. The first battle for Earth's survival was about to begin, and humanity was about to prove that sometimes the best defense isn't superior firepower, it's superior innovation. Defiance. The Devourer's approach turned space itself into a twisted canvas of gravitational distortions. Through the main display, the control room watched as three massive entities, each larger than Earth's moon, probed the quantum defense grid with tendrils of dark energy. Dr. Chen's fingers flew across her console as she coordinated with ARI. They're testing the boundaries, she reported. Just like we predicted, they're looking for weak points in the quantum interference pattern. Admiral Harrison stood at the center of the control room, his weathered face illuminated by the emergency lights. ARI. Status report. The A's response echoed through the chamber. Defense grid at 98% efficiency. Quantum resonance patterns holding steady, detecting increased dark matter manipulation from hostile entities. Zixtal's crystalline form pulsed with anxiety. This is different. They've never shown such hesitation before. Because no one's ever played their game before, Harrison smiled grimly. We're not just defending. We're making them work for every inch. The first attack came without warning. One of the Devourers launched a tendril of void-black energy directly at the quantum grid. But instead of breaking through, the attack scattered across the quantum interference pattern, dispersing into harmless radiation. Grid holding, Chen announced. Energy dispersion successful. They're burning more energy trying to break through than they would gain from feeding. ARIA's displays showed the complex dance of quantum particles as the defense system adapted to each probe and attack. The meridian resonators amplified the effect, creating a constantly shifting barrier that turned the Devourer's own energy against them. But the cosmic horrors weren't giving up. They began to coordinate their attacks, focusing their void energy on specific points in the grid. Warning alerts flashed across multiple stations. Section 7 showing strain, a technician called out. Grid integrity at 89% in that sector. Harrison turned to Chen. Time to show them our surprise, Doctor. Chen nodded, entering a complex sequence into her terminal. ARIA. Initiate Protocol Omega. Target the dark matter streams directly. The AI complied instantly. Throughout the solar system, the quantum satellites shifted their output. Instead of just creating interference patterns, they began to actively disrupt the dark matter streams the Devourers used for navigation and feeding. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The cosmic entities recoiled as their primary food source became toxic to them. Their massive forms writhed in space, trying to adapt to this unprecedented attack. "It's working," Chen exclaimed. "Their energy consumption is skyrocketing. They can't maintain their presence in normal spacetime without stable dark matter streams to feed on." Zixtal moved closer to the display, its colors shifting rapidly between amazement and disbelief. "You're not just defending against them. You're poisoning their hunting grounds." "Exactly," Harrison confirmed. "Sometimes the best way to stop a predator isn't to kill it. It's to make its preferred hunting territory uninhabitable." But the Devourers had one final card to play. The three entities merged into a single massive form that bent light itself around its void dark surface. It gathered energy for what appeared to be a last, desperate attack. "All power to the grid," Harrison ordered. "Area, maximum output." The combined entity launched its attack, a beam of pure void energy that could have torn a planet apart. But as it hit the quantum defense grid, something unexpected happened. The grid didn't just deflect the energy. It captured it, channeled it, and using the meridian resonators, turned it back on itself. The Devourer entity convulsed as its own attack was reflected back, amplified by the quantum grid. For a moment, space itself seemed to hold its breath. Then, with a silent explosion that rippled through subspace, the entity broke apart. Warning signals blared throughout the control room. "Grid stability at 45%, Chen reported. "We can't take another hit like that." But there wouldn't be another hit. The Devourers, now separated and severely weakened, were retreating. Their massive forms twisted through space, fleeing from the solar system that had turned their own hunting strategies against them. "They're running," Zixtal whispered, its form glowing with an almost blinding light of joy and disbelief. "You actually did it. You made them run." Harrison placed a hand on the alien's crystalline surface. "We did it together. Your technology, our strategy, Aria's calculations. It took all of us to change the impossible into the possible." As the control room erupted in celebrations, Chen stared at the retreating forms of the Devourers on her display. For the first time in known history, the cosmic horrors had been forced to flee. Humanity hadn't just survived. They had proven that even the most terrifying predators could be defeated with innovation, cooperation, and the courage to try the impossible. Legacy of Earth. 3 months after the Devourers' retreat, Earth's orbital space had transformed. The quantum defense grid remained active, but it was no longer alone. Ships from across the galaxy filled the sky, drawn by news that seemed impossible. Someone had finally defeated the cosmic horrors that had terrorized space for millennia. Dr. Chen stood at the window of the new galactic embassy, watching as vessels of every conceivable design moved through the carefully maintained lanes of Earth's orbit. Some were massive city ships housing refugee species. Others were diplomatic vessels carrying representatives eager to learn Earth's secrets. "Quite a change from when we first arrived," Zixtal said, its crystalline form reflecting the starlight. The Meridian's colors now regularly displayed the warm hues of contentment, rather than the fearful patterns of their first meeting. "Sometimes I still can't believe it worked," Chen admitted, turning as Admiral Harrison entered the observation deck. The Admiral had new stars on his collar, rewards for helping save not just Earth, but potentially the galaxy itself. "The latest reports from the deep space monitoring stations are in," Harrison announced, bringing up a holographic display. "The Devourers have completely abandoned this sector of space. They're avoiding any region where we've installed quantum disruption beacons." The beacons were Earth's gift to the galaxy, simplified versions of their defense grid that could be installed in any star system. They didn't require AI's sophisticated control, but they were enough to make a system too costly for the Devourers to attack. "The collective spheres are reporting similar success," Zixtal added, referring to a coalition of species that had adopted Earth's defense strategy. "They've reclaimed 3 systems that were previously considered lost to the void." Chen smiled as she remembered the initial skepticism from some alien species. They couldn't believe that a primitive world that had barely achieved spaceflight could succeed where ancient civilizations had failed. But that skepticism had turned to admiration as they realized humanity's greatest strength, The ability to look at old problems with new eyes. The quantum physics conference starts tomorrow, Chen said, checking her tablet. We've got representatives from over 300 species attending. They're particularly interested in how we integrated the meridian resonators with our eye control systems. Harrison nodded approvingly. Share everything. The more systems that adopt our defenses, the safer we all are. He paused, looking out at the busy space lanes. Though I admit, I didn't expect us to become the galaxy's teachers quite so quickly. It's more than just teaching, Sixtall observed. You've given something back to the galaxy that many of us had lost. Hope. The belief that the impossible can be overcome. The observation deck's door slid open as more visitors arrived. A group of alien scientists entered, their forms as varied as their homeworlds. Chen recognized representatives from species that had once been bitter enemies, now working together to implement Earth's defense strategies. Dr. Chen, one of them called out, their translator converting complex harmonics into English. We've been analyzing the data from the battle. The way your quantum grid adapted to the Devourer's attacks, it's revolutionary, but we can't help wondering. Why did you think to try something so different? Chen exchanged glances with Harrison before answering. Because we didn't know it was impossible. Earth has a long history of facing challenges that seemed insurmountable. Each time, we survived not by being the strongest or the most advanced, but by being innovative. By trying solutions that others might consider absurd. And by being willing to work together, Harrison added, nodding toward Sixtall. The Meridians trusted us with their technology, their knowledge. We combined it with our ideas, our eye, our determination. That's the real legacy here, not just the defense grid, but the proof that cooperation can overcome any obstacle. As if to emphasize his point, a new ship appeared in orbit, massive, sleek, and unlike anything Earth had seen before. Its hull bore the combined symbols of human and Meridian engineering. It was the first of the new Sentinel-class vessels, designed to expand the quantum defense network to other sectors of space. The galaxy's changing, Sixtall observed, its colors shifting to contemplative blues. For so long, species lived in fear of the void, believing that some horrors couldn't be fought. You've shown them a different way. Chen watched as more ships joined the orbital dance above Earth. Each one represented a species, a civilization, a hope for the future. Humanity had done more than just survive their trial by fire. They had sparked a revolution in how the galaxy faced its fears. We should get ready for tomorrow's conference, Harrison said, moving toward the door. We've got a galaxy to teach about the art of impossible victories. As they left the observation deck, Chen took one last look at the star-filled sky. The void was still vast, still full of dangers, but it no longer seemed as dark. Humanity had proven that even cosmic horrors could be overcome with innovation, cooperation, and the courage to try what others thought impossible. And that, perhaps, was the greatest legacy of all. End.